Hey everybody, today we'll be doing game management. So when I'm playing my game, I want after a certain amount of time passes for the level to complete. So let's sort out how we can do that. I'm going to start by just, since the dialogue manager isn't related to this particular assignment, I'll probably turn that off among other things. So let me pop over to tutorial manager, dialogue manager. Don't need him. I'll turn him off for now. And what else? I'll go over to, really need that part of my UI to be available, so I'll turn off the inventory. Boom. Let's just see if everything works still. All right, everything's working. I think it's getting my tilt on this hand. Just make sure it's reading my phone. Right, okay. So it's getting my phone. And so I want it to be able to last, I don't know, 30 seconds and then go to a game over screen, something like that. So in our game manager, boom, I could have some type of representation of how long I want the timer to last. So public float play phase timer, or play phase duration. Maybe it's 30 seconds. I don't know. After 30 seconds, it'll kick out and go to a results screen. Then I'll have public float play phase time remaining. I'll make this not public. A little underscore in front so that I remember it's not public. Let's say 30 seconds is how long I want it to last. We can have our play phase time remaining. When the start of the play phase occurs, I'll grab my play phase time remaining and set it equal to the full duration, play phase duration. So now, whatever this play timer was, now it's 30 because we just started the play phase. We could set it up so like different levels have different amounts of time, but for now, it's just always 30 seconds. And then I'll go to my update loop. Do I have an update loop yet? Doesn't look like I do. So we'll add ourselves an update loop. Public void update. And I'll give myself an update current phase behavior. Void update current phase. Boom. Behavior just to be consistent. And I'll want it to have a switch just like this one, so I'll put it here. During start, I'm not doing anything during my update, but during play phase, I need to evaluate whether or not my play phase is over. And that's when my play phase time remaining reaches 0. So we could do this a bunch of different ways. The way that I have implemented above, I take my play phase time remaining and I can subtract time.delta time from it every frame. Play phase time remaining equals itself minus however much time has passed. You can shorthand that by using minus equals. Same thing. So every frame, remove a small chunk of time from my play phase time remaining. And if play phase time remaining is equal or is less than or equal to 0, then that means it's game over. Otherwise, I don't know if there's ever any other behaviors we'd want during the game. Not over yet. I'll add a new phase for myself. So results phase to get a result screen of some sort. And in my start current phase behavior, case result screen, we need to load some other scene. I'll just set it to 2. Should probably have a stop music function. I don't believe I currently do, but we'll deal with that later. So we've got our scene manager. Our scene manager will load the next scene, and in order to load it, that scene needs to exist. So let me go over here and give ourselves a little results screen. Create C# script. Create scene, not C# script. Boom. SL_results screen. Boom. I'll pop over to my build settings and make sure that it's been added. So I will drag it in. Boop. And its number is 2. I need to go over here, make sure that that 2 is correct, and indeed it is. So now when the game ends, it can go to the result screen. So play phase time remaining. I can say transition phase. Is that what I called it? No. Let me type phase and just see what I got. Set next phase, perhaps the proper method. And I'll run game phases dot results. And as a quick reminder, set next phase, I believe it ends the current phase, then sets itself as the new phase, then goes to that next phase. So whatever needs to end with the play scene, maybe it needs to save some values or whatever, it can take care of it, and then it can transition to the next scene in the start current. I also need to remember, because I added this new update current phase behavior, within my update loop, I need to run it. Boom. Update current phase behavior. So, if, excuse me, gotta yawn. If played phase time remaining is less than 0, then that means it's game over. Otherwise, keep on grooving. We can go to our menu controller, go to our play panel, and I actually don't want a menu panel anymore. I want a specific type of panel because it's going to have a timer on it. So I'll say C# script play panel. Boom. I'll drag this onto here. Play panel. I'll remove this later, but I got to deal with this now. And get rid of everything in it. And play panel is going to be of type menu panel. Boom. I think there was some labs that I worked on where I made a menu controller, so it might be menu controller for you. Same difference. Okay, so it's compiling. And now my menu controller, looking through here, I think all this stuff is controlling itself. I think we're all good. The button options, I believe, closes itself, the menu, the play panel. I'll need to remember to fix that. So let's go remove component. And the button options now is missing that component because it doesn't, I just removed it. So I need to put play panel back on and say, actually, you're not doing menu panel, you're doing a play panel method. And because play panel inherits from menu panel, I can still run close panel. Boom. Now I need to go through and just make sure that I've captured everything. So that one is now missing a component. Going into here, play panel, close panel. Now let's go into the options panel. I am sure that there's going to be a close button, which is now missing because that options menu would have the ability to close itself and then reopen the play panel. Boom. And what else? We have an inventory panel, probably the same deal. There's a close button. That close button is missing that play panel, so I'll put that back on. Open. And dialog panel. I don't believe dialog panel looped into any of the other systems because it's its own thing. All right. So that is done. The panels have been repaired. And I'll go to the top level here and I'll apply all to my prefab because I was doing changes outside of my prefab, which I probably shouldn't have done, but whatever. So now I have this play panel and it can do whatever I want. Play panel could have its own control. So I want public text, not text alignment. I need to add using Unity engine.ui to the top. Public text, game timer text. And this will just be a text field that will be bound to the time remaining in the game manager. And I need to add it over here, so I'll go to my prefab so I don't have to hit that apply button again. I'll just add a UI text, very small. I'll call it timer text. Timer text. I'll go to my scene view so it's easier to appreciate what I'm doing. I want it to be probably toward the top center, so easy enough. Its anchors will be 0.4 to 0.6 on the X. That's actually exactly the same as what I got. So let's do point. Actually, that might be fine. 0.4 to 0.6 and like 0.8. That's there. Maybe 0.85. Sure. To 0.95. I got a little wiggle room at the top. And then I zero out these areas. So now the text is up there. I can center align it. I can say do your best fit, boink. And I can make it equal to 0, 0. And what else can I do? Maybe 100 is your biggest size. Boom. Back to the game view. All right, cool. Let's make it a bit easier to appreciate things that are going on. I'll go to my scene, click on my camera. I don't want a skybox, I just want a solid color. And I'll make it like a gray, a blue. I don't know, solid color background. You can do a few different options here. Feel free to play with it. And now my background is blue. And I have that text at the top, which I want to further, maybe give it an outline. Outline. Boom. Change the color of an outline? I don't believe oh, I can. Cool. And maybe make it like 5. -5. Do something like that. 3. -3. Make it a hard white. Oop. So now I have a bit of now it pops a bit, so it's easier to see. If you wanted to go further, you'd probably inverse the colors. I think that gives you maximum visibility. There's a black outline with a white text, I believe is the most visually easy to parse thing. I might already have a custom font in here. Sure, Upheaval Pro, I'll use it. And so it's just going to be a timer, goes down. I'll also have a label above it, so I'll duplicate it by hitting Control D. Yeah. And I'll say timer label. And instead of 0.85 to 9.5, I'll make it, we'll move this stuff around a bit. Let's make timer text go to 0.9 so that I know how high I go. Oops, 0.9. And it shouldn't make the text too much smaller. Okay, cool. And I'll go to my timer label, and I'll make it go from 0.9 to 0.95. Boom. I'll make the timer text top aligned, and this text bottom aligned, so now that they're almost touching. And last but not least, maybe a 5 pixels from the bottom breathing room. Boom. Do I already have this set up? I do. I already set this up to be scale by screen size, so I shouldn't worry about it looking different on different stuff. And the label will be time. Done. I can go back to my game. Lo and behold, it'll say time. And my game manager. My game manager, I play phase. That makes sense. Update current phase. If I run out of time, it'll go next. Else, I'm still going. I'll add a little method for myself because this is a private variable. Play phase remaining. And it'll be public float. Let's do, float get time remaining. And all it'll do is return play phase time remaining. Then from the play panel, which we created and it inherits from any panel, we'll add an update loop, update, and it will say float time remaining equals game manager dot instance dot, I spelled that wrong, dot get time remaining. Boom. So now that'll give me 30 seconds or whatever. And I can say string time remaining text. I'm just trying to think of an easy enough. I don't really need to make a new variable. I can say game timer text dot text equals, because it's going to be a text field here, equals time remaining dot toString. We want to format it so that it has the 00 type of format. And I believe all I do is this. Could be wrong, but I believe I do that, and it'll just format this to a 00 format. All that's remaining for me now is in my game manager or my menu controller. I need to make this public. Oh, whoops. There it is. Okay, I was like, weird. Okay, so there's my play panel. My play panel needs a slot for its timer text, which is right here. Boink. And I should be able to just hit play. Hey, look at that. And after 30 seconds, I should see it transition to the next scene. Let's see if it happens. Come on, baby. 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty scene. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So, now I can go to the play scene, or the results screen. Boom. And I can give ourselves a little results screen. I'll make a new UI here, UI canvas. I think my scale factor was 1600 by 900, but tall, not wide. So X is 900, Y is 1600. I can give myself a little UI. Image for the background. I'll make it take up the full screen. I'm holding Alt and Shift when I click this one so that I don't have to hit 0 in all of these. But if you didn't hit Alt and Shift, you'd use your 0 key and 0 all those out. So now I've got a background that I'll make, I don't know, that's fine. Then I'll add another image. I'll make it take up 80% of the screen or something, or maybe doing math right. 3 up. That's that. Yeah, 0.8. And 0.3 to 0.7. Blank, 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 blank. Decent result screen size. I'll give it the sprite of this, boink. It's already set to sliced. I want it to look a little chunkier. .09. Chunky. Now I should have saved this as a PNG, not a JPEG, so I wouldn't get all these grossness. Maybe I will do that. So that's a bad thing. Don't do that. That is what I got. So now I've got my background panel, I don't know. And I can add some labels to it. UI text, boop. That'll go inside so that it's scaled with it. And it'll go across the top, so I don't know. 0.1 to 0.9 on the X and 0.85 to 0.98. I'll just say to 1 on the Y. I'll zero it out. Boom, 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 boom. And then from the top, I'll give myself 5 pixels so it doesn't hug quite so much. I'll say best fit just so I don't have to finagle with it. Center and center. And instead of Arial, I'll do that font that I already had. Max size, let's say 60. Yeah. I'll do that white text with the shadow again. Outline, boom. 5 and -5, I don't know, something like that. Result screen. Game over. Okay, so I'll have my game over screen, and all it will have is a button that lets me go back to the start menu. That's it. I'll rename image to FG, by the way, for foreground. You can call it whatever you want. That's just how my brain thinks. UI button, doop. And the button is going to be in the bottom section, boink. Right. See that? Will it? Oh, cool, nice. So I just held Alt, not Shift, but just Alt when I click this. Hugs the bottom like that. Maybe I want it to be like point. I'll do it differently. I'll go back to center. Boink. 0.2 to 0.8 again, why not? And maybe from 0 to 0.2 with, I think I gave myself 5 pixels on the top last time. So I'll give 5 pixels on the bottom so that, you know, it feels the same. Oh, did I do more than? Oh, because I center aligned. I top align. Gotcha. Oh, and it's 5 pixels plus the 5 outline. So really I want 10 pixels to make it look the same. But I'll do bottom align, boink. And the button I'll do a little more. Instead of bottom here, do 0.1 to 0.3. Still feels nice and beefy. I'll make it say continue. If we ever had a score, we could put it in here. But we got this. I'll say this should use the same text, boink, and do best fit. Oop. I'll take my button. I'll say instead of that, use the orange. It's because it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll throw in some text to represent the results. I'll name this text header so I know the difference. Header. Blank. Duplicate. I'll name this content. And it'll be in the middle, so 0.5, 0.5 with oh, wrong one. I meant that was right. 0.1 to 0.9, but then this will be 0.8. No, 0.3 to 0.7. Let's just look at the cut. That'll give me less room at the button than from the header. So let's do 0.2. Excuse me, 0.2 to 0.8. 3, 5. All right, that looks like a good box. And I'll zero out all this stuff, boink and boink. I'll make it top aligned so that it runs with the header first, make it left aligned. And I could say like score something, time something, who knows. Great job. Or how about score blah rank A, S plus, who knows. Whatever we would have for our scoring system could go there, but I don't have a scoring system. So now we have game over screen, we have a rank, and we have score, and a continue button. All that continue button should do is, upon being pressed, go back to the main screen. So go to my canvas, I'll say, I'll name it to result menu canvas. I'll save it as a prefab. Yeah, just so that now I have it. I'll make myself a handy dandy script. In my UI panels. I don't really need it, but I'll call it result panel, or results panel. I'll plop it on here. Boink. Doesn't need anything outside of the normal, but it will need the knowledge of what it should do when you hit the results button. Public void on continue pressed. Boink. If I have a game manager, then take it and tell it to go to the next phase, which is the start screen. So after I hit the results and I confirm, it'll go kick back to the start screen. This could be a map screen. You could go back to the play screen, whatever you want. Maybe there's a continue or a restart, and the restart goes to play, and the other one goes to the start screen. Doesn't matter. All the same stuff. You just create new button logic. And now I can pop over to my canvas. And because I have a result panel, blink, since it's all within the prefab, that means I can drag it in the prefab and it'll just work. And I don't need to like rely on being able to talk to stuff that's not inside the prefab, because the prefab's code handles it and it's all good. Let's go to this button, on click, talk to my results panel parent and tell it on continue pressed. Nice. I just realized I could have also done a vertical layout group to do this screen. I'm not super worried about it, but it's all good. We could do a simple way to make a score. Let me just see how my player works. Does my player give a pickup behavior? Give an enemy spawner. Where is my enemy script? So he does his base movement behavior because he's a type of character. A fall cube will fall, and when he dies, he'll play his death animation. If he hits the player, he could hurt the player, but we don't have that logic in. He takes damage and then he dies. So maybe we'd want to add to the score whenever I kill an enemy when I run into it. Why would it work like that? I don't know. But this way we can deal with score a bit more easily. But let's just make sure everything works before I get lost in the weeds of like making that score thing actually say something. I'm not too concerned. So now I've got my button. The button will tell the result menu to do something. The result menu looks for the game instance. The game instance, if it exists, it will transition to a different scene. So let's go to another scene here. I just need a copy of my game manager. I'll hit Control C. Yeah. I'll go back to my results screen. I'll hit Control V. Now I've got it, but this is the results phase in this screen. Now when I press play, should be able to hit continue and go back to the main screen, though I'm magnified. Oh, is it trying to output to my phone or something? Let's find out. Edit project settings, editor, you play. I think me unplugging this bugged it out a bit. Let's do 16 by 9 or 9 by 16 portrait. Yeah, boom. That's better. Continue. And now I've got my jumpy cube and my start, my options, blah, blah, blah. Start. I have a timer. It goes down. When it reaches 0, it will transition to the results screen. I should have made it 20 seconds. Boom. And because I don't have other music, it doesn't tell the audio manager to change songs. And the audio manager doesn't destroy when I transition between scenes. So we could add new music or results audio and then tell it to play it and all that kind of stuff. I'm not super worried about it at the moment. So maybe next week we clean up the music so that it plays a different song. Maybe we add a score so that when I hit the enemies in the other level, it adds to a score somewhere, which then gets referenced on this screen. I think that'll be good. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that showed you a bit about how to do logic flows to go between scenes when you're doing like a gameplay phase that needs to end and then go to a result screen or wherever it is you need to go. Oftentimes the result screen is in the same scene as your game so that you can like have the game in the background and the scene comes up over it. But there's 1,000 ways to do it, and this is just one of them. So whatever you want to do, always feel free to reach out, ask me questions, and anything's possible as long as you can define the problem. All right, have a good one.